Welcome to the Scrumptious Woman. And I have with me the incredible Dr. Gigi Abdel-Samed, or how would you say it in Americanized English?
Some ed, like some education.
You and I have been in masterminds together. We've been like on the same path and like very different. And I know that, I've got my 4 Arab kids and you have a little story as well. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so thrilled to have you.
It's amazing to be here. You're probably one of my idols. You have no fear. You show up amazingly. It's true. And I believe I actually did a body session with you probably now 3 or 4 years ago. And that's always stayed with me. You are such a light for authenticity and integrity. And it's an honor to be here. I love you.
Thank you. Ooh, that means a lot. Sometimes we forget that we make an impact on people and that something stay with them. So I'm kind of like, oh,
Oh, great. Receive that because you've earned it. It's who you are.
thank you. Now let's put the focus on you, my darling, because we're very good at deflecting, right? We're a woman.
Darn it.
Here, doctor, you've had 30 years of experience as a physician in the States. Just as we were coming on, you're like, oh, I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Oh, yeah. No, I said perfectionism used to be my superpower.
There you go, superpower. I'm like, and I
Yeah.
turned it into recovering perfect. How is your superpower now? How's that working out for you?
It worked so well that it made me a doctor with a master's in business and all kinds of things. And then it ran me right into the ground with addiction. I became addicted to Ambien because there was no off switch for that darn perfectionism. It was crazy.
Wow, that was it in a nutshell.
Yes. How does it work for me now? What I've done is I've kept the drive and let go of the driver.
Say more. That sounds like a
Mm.
really beautiful little quote. I've kept
Yeah.
the drive, but I've let go of the driver. So the
Yes.
Gigi that was perfectionist is not driving the bus anymore.
The honestly, it was the Gigi who was so insecure. And
Mm.
so I used to joke that the number of degrees I held was inversely proportional to my low self-esteem. And this is something I see with many doctors I work with. We try so hard to get there, to be there, to do that. And on the inside, we have the biggest egos on the outside and the lowest self-esteem on the inside. And it's such a paradox. And I used to think that being driven was a good thing until I realized that if I'm being driven, I'm not actually driving. And it was my attempt at being in control. And I'll never forget, Varian Brandon said once, the most controlling people are the ones who feel most powerless. And I was, wow,
That hit somewhere. That landed.
that landed right between the eyes. Because if you're truly in control and truly settled in who you are and truly trust, it's like the bird on the branch. Its trust isn't in the branch, it's in its own wings. And what that showed me is I had no trust in my own wings. So I had to control everything around me. And I was so good at it, I made a career out of it. I became an ER doctor so that not only do I have to control everything around me, but if I don't, people might actually die. What? So that part of me, that probably 5, 6-year-old part of me that always felt not good enough and had to earn her way, and the subconscious message of whatever I did yesterday didn't count. Only today matters. You could have saved the entire world yesterday, but what did you do today? And I think a lot of women relate to that, whether you're a mother who, okay, I did great for my child yesterday, but today, we start from a clean slate today again. In our business, we start from a clean slate again today. It's pervasive. It's brutal. It's never ending.
It completely is. And I love how you went into medicine to actually help others and save lives. And by doing so, you recognize that you were such an overachiever and you had to have this perfectionism that, and like so often, some of us just have to hit almost rock bottom so that we can change. Do you think it's cultural?
I think a part of it is cultural. I think even more so, it's cultural in the field of healthcare. And this is through my own recovery now. It's been, 2007, so 19 years ago. I've learned and I've expanded. And what I've realized is that medicine selects for those of us who are empaths. those of us who are highly sensitive people, those of us who have these 9 core wounds that I've, created in my proprietary framework. And the wounds are those that probably most of us can relate to: the wound of worthiness, wound of safety, the wound of control, wound of invisibility. And, it selects for those things. And so most of us grew up wanting to save the world, to help people. Maybe we had someone in our family who passed away. We couldn't save them. Or we came into contact with a doctor who did save our family member and we wanted to be that. And then the training not only selects for that, but then it hardens it into, this is what makes you a good doctor. Sacrifice
Mhm.
yourself. Be perfect. Even if you did it right and you saved the patient, you never focus on what you did right. You focus on what did you miss. But then on the top of that, the cultural piece of being Egyptian, absolutely. Being born a girl in a culture that is very much all about boys
Yeah.
and men. And it just, again, it's pervasive. And no one ever said to me, you're defective because you're a girl. But there was that look on my father's face of like, oh, it's a girl. Watching my older brother be the adored first son and me, this invisible, I don't know what you want to call it. I created my persona. My sense of belonging was to be the caretaker, the people pleaser, and again, I would never have named these as why I went into medicine. I thought I went into healthcare to be a doctor and help people. I didn't realize I went into it to try to finally silence that voice of not enough and to finally feel good enough. And healthcare is not built for that. It was never meant to give us back what we think we're going to get from it.
And the beauty is that you have noticed that pattern that you were in, and we're all running patterns. Let's just be honest. We're standing in, we're building identities and personas and everything, and it's like, whoa, okay. But when I hear all these like new life coaches saying, step into that identity, and I'm like,
Mhm.
how about we just dissolve all the identities so that we don't have to step into something that we're not? And they look at me like really confused. They're like, what do you mean? But then you're
Well,
not going to go and get what you want. I'm like, yeah, I'll talk to you in 5 years. And nothing wrong with
mhm.
trying to muscle your way through. But as you've noticed, and I've noticed, can't do that. So,
Yeah.
but I love where you say we go and try and work on our biggest wound, and somehow that's how we give back to the world, right? None of us can see
Mhm.
what our biggest gift is because that's our biggest wound. And that's what I often take people through. But also this weekend, I had a friend of Noor, my daughter. And she had her doctor friend, Palestinian Jordanian, living in
Mhm.
the UK, working for the NHS. And just telling me, like, the stuff that goes on and how hard they have to work, and she's graduated 2 years ago 2, 3 years ago, so she's in, like, her 3rd year of really being a proper doctor and doing operations by herself, etcetera, etcetera. But it's the politics of a hospital, the politics of being a doctor in this country, and probably in most country, is what does everyone in. They're like, "Just don't wanna do it anymore. We wanna help."
Mhm.
I mean, this morning, I got called 12 minutes before I was meant to be at my GP. So in England, we have general practitioner. And you
Mhm.
have to do everything through that.
Yeah.
So 12 minutes before, they're saying, "Oh, can you come at 9?" I'm like, "My appointment's at 9:15. You're calling me 12 minutes before. I live at least 10 minutes away." So I'm like, "I'll try and get there as soon as I can." And then the little kiosk to put in your date and your stuff didn't work, and the man was overworked, and it took him 8 minutes to check me in. So at that time, it was 10 past. The doctor
Mhm.
comes and gets me, says, "I have 5 minutes only because you're late." I said, "Well, actually, I'm not. My appointment is for 9:15, and I was called to ask if I could come earlier. I can try and get there, but if it takes me 12 minutes to get there, you call me 12 minutes too, it's not gonna work." And they were just
Yeah.
saying how overworked they are, how overworked the staff is, and that they're all trying to help, but they
Yeah.
just can't.
I think what you're speaking to is, it's such a reality, and it's one of the structural issues within the system, which is even now as they're coming out with these AI scribes to take notes and help you with the documenting, for doctors, it's like, oh my gosh, we'll get a little more time back. And the system says, oh, you have extra time. Let's put more patients in there. Um, and this is exactly why I do what I do, because unless we change the inner operating system within us, it's going to drive us crazy. Your daughter's friend who's in residency or training right now, she's going through exactly what we all go through, which is that core driver, that core wound that made us want to become doctors. It's like, oh, okay, great. It's got enough fuel to get through the selection process and maybe through a year or two of 120-hour weeks. And then at one point, it's like, oh my gosh, we start to realize we're on a treadmill and it's never going to be enough and it's never actually going to slow down. And then that core driver starts to wear us down instead of keeping us afloat. And I'm with you because as a transformational coach, like I tell people, you've got to go to the core. Otherwise, you're just band-aiding things. And I always say that I'm an uncoach for exactly the same reason you said. You know, we live in a world where all of us have so many things that we have to do, and you have to do this and you have to do that, and all the conditions, and at home, and as a mother, and at work. And it's like, where do you get to breathe? And you know, where do we start to unravel all of the shoulds and get to just breathe and be ourselves? And it hurts my heart when I see doctors who are barely a year or two out of residency quitting. They're like, whoa, this is not what I signed up for. And the irony is, it's exactly what they signed up for, and the system
They just
hasn't
never knew.
really changed. They just never knew. Or even if they knew, there's this sort of thought of like, oh, it's going to change at some point when I become an attending, or it's going to. And a lot of people have said to me, how can you stay in the system? And a few things. One is, if I leave it, who's left to save it? Because medicine and healthcare, it's my love. It's my
Mm.
passion. When you find a great doctor who really cares and listens, and, our family doctor growing up, our GP, our primary care, he took care of the kids. He took care of mom and dad. He took care, like he was a true family. He was part of the family. And
Complete.
that's what I want, is for doctors to be that trusted family friend again. And I want patients to feel seen and heard. And just basically, I want to put the Christ consciousness back into healthcare. I want the heart back in healthcare. And if we keep waiting for permission, it's never going to happen. And there's this learned helplessness, this learned powerlessness. And so what I'm giving back to doctors is to be able to walk through the same exact minefield, the same exact day, the same exact stressors, but to move through it with ease and grace and sucking the marrow, the joy out of life and leaving the rest behind. It's like, yeah, I'm like,
Scrumptiousness. We get a bit of that.
literally like delicious, like biting into the juiciest orange and just having it like dribble down. Like, yes, yes. I
I
can't tell
love
you, like,
it.
there's days when I've seen 30 patients in 8 hours and I walk out feeling just as rested and energized as I did when I walked in. It's not like that every day, but more days than not.
Beautiful. And I loved what you said, the uncoached, which
Mhm.
is right. Because at one point you get to a point, you're like, what am I? Am I a coach? Am I a mentor? Am I an expert? Am I the specialist? Does it even matter? So I like the uncoached. But tell me about the 9 core wounds and is it a
Mhm.
program? Is it something, a method that you've created and take people through?
It's a methodology, and basically it's about figuring out which of those core wounds drives you the most. And it's a platform that's licensed to hospitals to help doctors. And I've actually submitted a white paper to the New England Journal of Medicine on the methodology and the framework. So fingers
Yes.
crossed. Yes, it's been 2, 3 weeks now. So fingers crossed. It's like, why aren't we studying the people who need help the most? Like, when you support us as doctors, it's like supporting the woman in the house, the wife, the mother, because what you give her, she gives back tenfold. What is the saying? If you give a woman a house, she'll give you a home. That's what we do. So it's like, just give us what we need. And the methodology, as we go through the becoming aware of what the core drivers are, and then becoming aware of the unspoken thoughts and conditions. And, we've been trained that if something's wrong, you do more. And this is
Yeah.
one time where more will make it worse. And I've got a couple of TEDx talks in the works too, applying on those. And
Yeah, exciting.
yeah, so I was going to say, now the initial title is How Medicine Became My Narcissistic Lover and How I Healed the Relationship.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
It is. Like, we got into this relationship like, "Oh, he's hot." And then you try to prove yourself, and then you get in there and you're like, "Wait, he's all about himself. What is going on? This is not the relationship I thought it was." But do you throw away the whole relationship? Or do you realize you just never saw him clearly? And so the 9 core wounds is part of my proprietary methodology and, intellectual framework for the 9 most common things that make us as high achievers and physicians become doctors that medicine selects for, that then dials in to such a degree that we stop running the program 10,
Mm.
20 years later.
See, I love that. And you said you run that for hospitals, or how does that work exactly?
I do. So over the last 10 years, I've taken probably 300, 350 individual clients through it, some of them doctors. Because it's so kind of universal, I've had, CEOs, lawyers, hairdressers, people who have that heart, spirituality, achievement through it. So this is the first time that I have actually put it into an actual crystallized framework and
Hmm.
methodology. And so I'm putting out there the first few pilots to run in hospitals. And
Amazing.
so right now I'm out there speaking and connecting and networking to get that first pilot into the hospitals, because that hospital is going to be the place that doctors want to work, because they will finally feel understood, seen, and supported at a level that no other wellness, meditation, breathwork coaching will reach, because it's
Completely.
to the core.
And I can also see where that would work for the nurses, because that's obviously as the doctors, but the nurses are also being worked
Yes. So,
massively hard. So, I mean, this can go into schools, it can go
yeah.
into everything.
Well, I love that you said that because it's called medical school for the soul.
There you go. I mean, I'm like, medical schools, I should probably be teaching this.
Correct. That's the whole goal, is
That's
eventually to have this taught in medical schools so that you can have a 30-year career from day one and know what you're dealing with. And then eventually it'll be medical school for the nurse's soul, the medical school for the, executive soul. Exactly. It's needed.
it's so needed, right? And then people, how did you get into this? And how do you know so much? And then, they'll
Mm.
get on a call with me for 15 minutes and we're done at minute 14. And they're like, I never thought I would get this much value out of 15 minutes. I'm like, you go to a doctor, you go to a lawyer, you go to someone like that. Of course, I don't need to have more than 15 minutes often with you. We can pinpoint exactly what's going wrong and
Mhm.
where we can tweak it and get to your subconscious and get to
Exactly.
all your stuff in your body and move it through.
Mm.
And yesterday I
Yes.
had this man on, he's like, his camera wasn't working. I'm like, doesn't matter. Let's just do this. And he was
Energy is
and he's like,
energy.
how? How do you do this in 14 minutes? I'm like, I've been doing this for 27 years. It's not like I'm doing it for 1 minute. So when people
Yes.
kind of say, but you're a bit expensive, or what do you mean you
Mhm.
only do a 15-minute free call? I'm like, because I don't need longer than that.
When we get to this level of, I don't know how many years you've been doing Juliet, but
27 years between a Senko and non-special educational needs
exactly.
coordinator to what I do now. It's
Yeah. Yes. But you learn to tune in, and you learn to, like, the words that come out of their mouth, the energy that you're feeling, the tone of their voice. And people just don't realize how much they're giving away in who they're being and how they're being. And so, like, I love what you said, because I can't remember that I heard a story once about someone went up to Van Gogh and said, would you, draw me a sketch? And he, doodled something on a napkin at a bar or something. Of course, it's a made up story. And he hands it to him and he says, it's like $27,000. And the person's like, well, what do you mean? It's a doodle on a napkin. And he's like, well, it took 27 years to do that doodle in 5 minutes, where someone else, it might take them years to create.
exactly right. And I just think people forget about that, forget about like the wisdom that doctors, that professionals have. Let's just call them professionals because everyone has different skills. I could not do the marketing that someone else does. I know as an entrepreneur, you're supposed to be doing and your marketing and your PR and your client calls and like, whoo, it's a lot of
No.
hats we wear.
That's like was it Dr. Ben Hardy that wrote 10x is
Yeah.
easier than, yeah, 10x is easier than 1x.
You're
And
right.
and he says you just need to focus on what you do best.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
leave all the rest for other people. But I think that also speaks to a cultural mindset of more is better, more is more
Mhm.
valuable. It's literally just another extension of that same underlying kind of operating system that we all run, which is, well, okay, wait a minute, 15 minutes. Well, 15 minutes is good, then an hour should be better. Like, why are you cheating me out of an hour? And we're like, this is not that. This is a whole new paradigm
You
of
don't need an hour. In an hour, what we do in an hour would be
your soul could not deal with all of that.
that's gonna happen to your nervous system after an hour. But this is why I say when people do
Yeah.
VIP days with me, I'm like, we shift so much that
Mhm.
it's not for everyone.
It's for the brave of heart. I know from what you do, from having experienced you and from watching you, that you do what I do, and I call it soul surgery because you may walk out feeling like nothing's changed in your life, but everything's changed in your life because the foundations have settled. It's like we create these little earthquakes where you get the aftershocks and, oh, okay, everything's okay, we're good. And then you turn around and go, oh, the whole world has settled a little differently. I see things differently. What just happened? I love that. You're a powerful person. And that presence, that intuition, that's also part of what I'm teaching because there's that same mythology that you have to give a patient more time in order to give them what they need or make them feel heard or seen. And I mean, in the ER, in the emergency department, I'm lucky if I have 5, 10 minutes in there. And yet by using things intentionally, I have patients who will open up. And one woman who said to me, I haven't even told my primary doctor this because I was afraid she would weaponize it against me, but I
Oh,
trust you. Yes.
that's such a big thing, right? Trust and safety to feel safe with the person you're speaking to. Now, this morning, my GP, we had 5 minutes. I kind of bit her head off and I told her what had happened. She's like, "I'm so sorry, this, that." And she's like, "What's the problem?" So I just like bottom lined it. I told her, I said, "This is my area of expertise. I've tried it, this, and that. Well, I'm postmenopause. I need this and this and that." She's like, "Oh, they should have booked you in for a half an hour consultation." I'm like, "Great, we don't have that. We've got exactly 5 minutes. What do we do? Boom, boom, boom." And she just looked at me.
Mhm.
She's like, "Wow, you know your stuff." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I also
Mhm.
wanna keep you on time." They fucked up. Doesn't matter. I know what I need. You know what to give it to me. It's like, "Okay, so let's do it." 6 minutes, I was out of there. And she's like, "Wow,
Yeah.
you kept me on time." I'm like, "You're welcome."
You became her partner. This is the irony of healthcare today is that at some point it gets to feel like the doctor and the patient are on opposite sides instead of working together. And it's like, hello, guys, without patients, you wouldn't be a doctor. Without patients, there would be no healthcare system. So when
Jeez.
did we start to resent having to see patients? I'm like, we went through medical school in order to be allowed to even touch a patient. It's basically just reframing, shifting, bringing them back to essence, like removing all of the crap that's been layered on over the years. And yeah, I can't wait because I'm here to heal the healers. So
That is here to
it's
heal the healers. Absolutely. That is like the perfect ending. But I want you to give our listeners 2, 3 things that they can take away and do today.
the first one. If you find yourself becoming controlling, notice that and let that be your flag, like a little, oh, what's going on here? Where am I feeling lost or powerless? Where am I actually afraid? That would be my top one.
Mhm.
So when you feel controlling or you notice your husband or someone's doing something and you're like, oh, not that way, what are you really afraid of? What's really going on underneath the controlling? I would say the second one would be when you're in that do more, do more, do more. What do you actually want from the more doing? Whose approval are you seeking? What voice are you trying to quiet in your head? What's actually driving that perfectionism? And just take a moment and drop out of your head and into your body and notice, am I breathing? Are my fists clenched? I'm disconnecting because there's something here I'm trying not to feel. And the third one is just be kind. Be kind to yourself, be kind to other people. A lot of us think, oh, we love other people, we take care of other people. And there's the saying of, love your neighbor as thyself. Well, here's the thing. You cannot love your neighbor if you're criticizing yourself constantly because
Mhm.
you'll only ever love them the way you love yourself with criticism. Even if you're doing the kindest thing outwards, you're judging them internally. You're like, oh, that asshole, excuse my language, like that person. So be kind. And that starts at home with yourself.
Such a big one because what we say to ourselves really does matter. And I hear my partner Alex saying this from time to time. We do the crossword puzzle and the Wordle and everything every morning. That's our little ritual. And then he'll fill in the letters and he'll get it wrong. He's like, "Oh, you wanker." And I'm like, "Why? Why do you say this to yourself?" I don't even say it anymore. I just like pat him on the shoulder. I'm like, "Hey, stop." He's like, "Oh, I've done it again."
Elves are listening. I mean, Dr. Masaru Emoto with the
The
hidden
water, right?
messages in water. Yeah, it's like your water crystals line up for the words that you say. Yeah,
Completely.
amazing.
Gigi, where can people find you? I know everything will be in the show notes, but I want to just leave on this so that they
Yeah.
can come and find you on
Well,
Instagram and
oh, I
website.
can't wait to connect. I love connecting. Connection is one of my fun. I mean, that's what makes me happy. It's like, okay, soul food. So yeah, you can find me. My website is www.drgigisamed.com, drgigisamed.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram at Dr. Gigi Samed, same thing. I'm on Facebook. You can find me any way you want me. I'm out there and I can't wait to connect. Thank you so much for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. So everyone, look in the show notes. Everything will be there. Dr. Gigi is incredible to get to know. Not only is she an amazing physician, amazing uncoach, but she's also funny as hell. Thank you so much for coming on.
Love you so much. Bye, Julia.